The Avengers must go on a heist. Let's talk about that. Hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'm doing a review for the casino job arc in the ongoing Avengers series. This takes place between issues 22 and 24, right before all the Doom stuff. So, I wanted to do this because I want to do a video about everything that's going on with One World Under Doom, but I had to catch up, and I thought these were very interesting issues. It is Jed MacKay once again writing Black Cat, which is one of the first comics that I ever read from Jed MacKay. Like I caught up on a lot of his on a lot of his Black Cat stuff before he even did Doctor Strange and Moon Knight. So Black Cat holds a very special place in my heart. So seeing her team up with the Avengers, or not team up, at least appear in the Avengers book, I thought was very interesting. So we're gonna be doing a review, like I mentioned, of the Avengers 22 through issue two, all the way to 24. Of course, there will be spoilers. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's talk about the creative team. Of course, this is written by Jed MacKay, the ongoing Avengers writer. We also have pencils and inks by Farid Karami, colors by Federico Blee, letters by Corey Petit. And of course, we have some covers, including Valerio Schiti, who is usually the main artist on this. But there's the Avengers have a rotating, um, they have a rotating team of artists to make sure that deadlines are met and different arcs have different artists. So in this series, the Avengers must navigate the brewing tribulation events. Now, if you haven't read that, it's very complicated, but the short of it all is that they've been forewarned by Kang that something's happening. There is a missing moment in time. And then, of course, they have to figure out what this is. They have to execute an intergalactic heist in the Grandmaster's casino vault to acquire that data. They want to know what that is. There's a lot of temporal manipulations by a character named Mirden. We also have, of course, complications when the Black Cat shows up, when Kang shows up. So everyone is after this data, and it is up to the Avengers to pull the heist of the century. But can they even do that? We'll get into it. Before I go into detail about all these specific events that happen in each issue, let's talk about some of the critiques that I have. I love a high story, so I was already pretty much in. I knew that as soon as Black Cat was involved. Now I will say she comes in a little bit later in the event than I would like. Like she comes in pretty much at the end of the 22nd issue, which would be the first part of this. I really thought it was going to be a team up with the Avengers, but no, instead, really is kind of a more of a competition. And there's some larger things. There's some larger games like the Grandmaster and Mirrodin. This character that I don't know very much about. They're having this kind of like gamble. They're doing this bet of which team can complete the heist and can get the data that is required. So all that stuff, if you kind of put that off to the side a little bit, if you're just reading this for the story, you will still have a great time, I think. Uh, I really love how sleek some of the art is, very dynamic, very stylized as well. I love the character designs in this. I think that the art team is very strong. All the characters look like they should, and they have these really cool ways of kind of laying out the story, which brings a fun pace to this. Like it really feels a little bit, in those heist movies, you normally have the team talking about what they're gonna do while they're showing you what's happening or what actually happened. And that's kind of what the team does, right? The Avengers are planning this heist, but you also kind of see it play out in real time in these maybe flash forward pages, or maybe them talking about it as a flashback. It's still very great, very playful, really cool style. I love that this is kind of a contrast to the more serious stuff that's been going on. The colors are popping off the page, and then when it gets to the big stuff, right, you get to see part of the plan of the Avengers is to have Storm cause a big commotion fighting with the Scarlet Witch, which I love how she is the living dark hole. Yeah, so like it's like she's very important in the full galactic thing. And then of course Black Cat shows up, dressed to the nines in this casino, but very quickly changes into her outfit. So it all really works for me. So yeah, I like the story a lot. It's a very quick kind of one and done in these three issues. It really feels like a thing that even if you don't know what this moment in time is, like what the data they're going after is, Jed McKay gives you enough information to realize like it is important. Like you want to have this. The Avengers need it. I really like the Avengers roster, right? With Storm working with them. Of course, she recently joined the team, and I think this will all be collected in one volume, including the Storm stuff and then some of the one shot things with Black Panther, who's currently missing. He's trapped inside of their ship right now in like another dimension. It's very weird. We'll talk about it in the next arc. Yeah, and then of course we have Sam, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, the Vision. It's a really cool team. The Scarlet Witch, like it all. It's just such a powerhouse of a team as well. So let's get into talking about the specifics of these issues though. So after the Avengers learn that the missing moment data is being auctioned, as they plan it. This is all being led by Captain Marvel, right? She's the current leader of the Avengers. They plan out a high stakes heist, very much like Ocean's 11. I love those films. I also really enjoy Godzilla Heist, which is another book that I'll be doing a video for later on. In the meanwhile, you know, there's this other intergalactic game going on, as I mentioned, by the Grandmaster. Now, Storm and Wanda fake this big fight to distract everyone in the casino, security and all that. And while Tony, Carol, and Sam disguise themselves in Wizard of Oz outfits, or as close as you could get to, like you could pretty much tell it was those characters. But I guess they have to draw them a little bit different for like, you know, copyright or whatever. But it was pretty much like, you know, Carol was Dorothy. Sam was wearing like this outfit of like it wasn't the lion's outfit, but it was pretty much supposed to be. And then of course, Iron Man, the Tin Man. Um, in the next issue, though, after we find out that the Black Cat is involved, we get to see a little bit of the Black Cat's point of view. We see Kang recruiting Felicia. He takes her over to like to see the dinosaurs for some reason. I don't know. Maybe Felicia is just a big fan of Jurassic Park. Uh, then they also recruit a third individual who happens to be Walter Hardy, Felicia's father. So, of course, this is all coming into part of the plan. And then we get to see that for both of the teams kind of face off against each other, right? The Avengers, although they think they might have the upper hand, they don't because the Black Cat planned for this. She recruited the Bellinger crew, which includes a lot of characters that I've never even heard of, but they have enough firepower to distract the Avengers while Kang and the Black Cat get away. Or so they think, because in the last issue, we realize that the Avengers actually catch up to them, but all the data is actually with Kang. He brings his gigantic armada, and as Kang thinks that he's about to win and destroy the full casino, the Avengers pull off one last turn, and they bring everybody onto Kang's ship. They're able to get the data, and then Felicia realizes that she messed up, but she does get a little bit of a happy ending when she takes her father back to where he's supposed to be in time. She realizes that he knew the whole time that she was Felicia and that that was his daughter. So they both have one last moment together, even though he will never remember this. It's a really nice kind of ending for Felicia. And then, of course, Kang is defeated. He goes back to his own time to kind of plan out his next machinations. I feel like the book kind of is pivoting away from Kang, maybe driven by the movies that they're pivoting away from Kang being the big bad. Of course, comics take a long time to write, so like all those waves, that reverberate from the Marvel offices, probably take a little while to catch up on the stories. And then the Avengers, they have won the day, but as they get back to the Avengers mansion or their ship, they realize that Earth has been taken over by Doctor Doom, leading us right into the One World Under Doom event that we're covering in the channel as well. So yeah, really, really fun stuff, really cool storytelling. And like I mentioned, we have some really cool things with like the Wizard of Oz, Black Cat just kind of coming in with a time displaced father, which is really interesting. We still have all this mystery of the Mirrodin manipulation, which I don't really know much about the character. I think that having these other characters like the return of Technet, Gatecrasher, Bodybag, like all those characters that are just very deep Marvel lore, like I don't know about them. I had to look them up to see what was going on with them. So I think it's very interesting. Highly recommended. Only 3 issues, which you can read on Marvel Unlimited, which is how I caught up. I buy the Avengers on a monthly basis, but these haven't already put away. So it's really nice to, well, not the One World Under Doom, which I'll do next, the Masters of Evil, which will be the next volume. That one should be coming out in December, but this one should be coming out pretty soon, and it'll be a big one. I think it'll have about 7 issues in it because there's a few standalone little stories in that. So kudos to Jed McKay, kudos to the art team, and then the Marvel office just made a really fun. Um, a really fun set of little story right before this. Issue 21 is an Avengers versus X-Men issue, which really means that it's just the Avengers and the X-Men hanging out, but they got to sell you with that cover. So also recommend, if you're trying to catch up, that's a good starting point, and just kind of go from there. Stay tuned because I'll come back with a video pretty soon about the next volume, the One World Under Doom Masters of Evil story that Jed McKay is also writing. But yeah, we have a lot more stuff in the channel, a lot of really cool comics, movies, all that stuff. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let me know what you're reading or what you would like me to make videos about, which I can do. I'm doing a lot of videos that kind of incorporate a full volume or a full arc of the story. We have a Wolverine story, also a Laura Kinney Wolverine that I'm also catching up on. I'm trying to hunt down the last issue of Daredevil Unleash Hell because you can't read that digitally because it's a red band polybagged, title. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff from Marvel, a lot of cool stuff from DC, and many other publishers. We cover pretty much everything on the channel. So as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.